6 years in the making. INEOS's plan to bring US shale gas to Europe has been the company's most ambitious project to date. An unprecedented feat of engineering, deal broking and international strategy.
If I look at the people in INEOS, they are the type of people who will rise to challenges and they will take charge of their own destiny.
This year, 8 ships will make their way from Marcus Hook on the banks of the Delaware River, loaded with a cargo set to re-energise European and UK manufacturing. A project many believed couldn't be done is now about to launch a new chapter in gas transportation.
INEOS isn't the type of company that will sit back and wait to see what happens. It's a type of company that will be proactive and define its own future.
In 2010, the European chemical industry was reeling from the effects of the financial crisis.
The country faces an industrial closure reminiscent of the 80s.
Energy prices were volatile, and pan-European feedstock shortages, combined with cheap foreign imports, meant that plants were closing and jobs were being lost.
Scotland's history is littered with problematic industrial situations. Ravenscraig, for instance, they're completely decimated. These things have huge impacts on the community.
It's pretty unthinkable, really, that you would finish up closing down half your assets in Europe because they couldn't compete on the world scale.
And the reason we weren't making money was quite simple. We had not got enough feedstock to run our plants. We needed something really major to happen to turn the site's fortunes around.
In the US, it was a different story. Low energy and feedstock prices have revitalised their industries.
It was beginning to transform not only the US chemicals industry, but also the US economy.
Shale gas was ushering in an era of unprecedented growth. In September 2011, a meeting was held. A plan was devised to seize the initiative and bring that US advantage to Europe. A fleet of ships would create a virtual transatlantic pipeline to supply INEOS's European businesses with the US gas they desperately needed. The only problem, no one had attempted anything on this scale before.
The idea at first could sound crazy.
It was quite a gamble from INEOS's point of view.
The Appalachian Basin in West Pennsylvania holds some of the world's largest shale deposits. Following years of research, Range Resources discovered a way to safely extract the natural gas with minimal effect on the environment. This was to be the source of INEOS's new ethane feedstock, and following a deal, the two companies formed a partnership. The only problem was how to get the gas to the coast, 300 miles away. And so a deal was struck with oil company Sunoco to pipe the gas to a facility west of Philadelphia. Marcus Hook, an almost derelict oil and gas processing site on the banks of the Delaware River, was on the verge of being shut down after more than 100 years.
The refining industry in Philadelphia was in peril.
But with a deal agreed to supply INEOS with ethane for the foreseeable future, investment followed, and work began on building a new terminal and state-of-the-art tank to cryogenically store the gas.
What I find very exciting about this partnership with INEOS is it really underpins the future of this facility, and to see that it will maintain its status and really underpin the growth and the economic stimulus of this area for years to come.
The first destination for this feedstock was INEOS's site in Rafnes, Norway, followed shortly by the site here at Grangemouth. At both sites, major infrastructure developments were underway to accommodate the new feedstock. As part of the £450 million investment into the site here at Grangemouth, a new tank, the largest of its kind in Europe, would be built.
Building currently what will be the biggest ethane storage tank in Europe. The project is a very ambitious project because it's a major infrastructure challenge for the site.
With the building of the infrastructure now underway, all that was left to do was build the ships. Crossing the Atlantic Ocean is a huge challenge. But doing it on this scale, with a cargo of liquid ethane, would require a feat of nautical engineering never seen before, and meant a boat redesigned from the keel up.
So we teamed up with Evergas to design a vessel which could solve the engineering problems of transporting extremely cold liquids across the Atlantic, but do that economically.
Teams throughout Europe set to work on a brand new keel, hull and state-of-the-art engine. These were new vessels, and as a result would need a new classification. The name given to them, Dragon Class. Sino-Pacific Offshore and Engineering, one of the world's biggest shipbuilders, were commissioned to construct the Dragons. The ship's tanks would be the largest ever built for this purpose, carrying a total of 27,000 cubic meters of supercooled liquid ethane. The hulls were constructed in a block format. Gigantic chunks of the vessels, weighing up to 700 tons each, were lowered into a dry dock and fitted together, all within 2 millimeters accuracy of each other. With the storage tanks in place and the decks completed, the ships were now ready to launch. Over the course of 2 years, 8 boats will launch from Shanghai, bound for the USA to pick up their first cargo. Back at Marcus Hook, the impact of this venture is plain to see as the transformation of the site is well underway.
Today, when you come into Marcus Hook, it's a completely different story. We joke about the fact that it's hard to find a table in the local restaurants for lunch around here because there's so much activity, hundreds, if not thousands, of contractors that are working here at Marcus Hook as part of the ongoing redevelopment of the site.
That redevelopment meant that the terminal facility was completed, and upon their arrival, the first ships were docked and loaded with ethane.
Today we stand here in bright sunshine in Marcus Hook, and this morning the vessel completed loading the 14,500 tons of ethane. So it is a remarkable and actually historic day, I must say.
With their first journeys underway, focus shifts to their destinations. Over 3,000 miles away, there's a similar sense of excitement.
When I first took over this role was in August 2014, and from that day we were talking about September 2016. So we've been literally counting down for 2 years this date, and it's going to be transformational for the site.
A project 5 years in the making, spanning 3 continents, involving tens of thousands of people. A project to secure the future of INEOS's European businesses is now nearing completion.
It's just amazing to actually see this project now come to fruition. Hopefully it will secure the future of our business here and for our petrochemical industry in Europe going forwards. On behalf of everyone who's been involved, I feel very proud.
One shouldn't underestimate the size of the achievement. It's required an immense amount of work, a lot of focus really, a lot of challenges. Fantastic achievement by the team.
With the first voyage complete, a new era of gas transportation has begun as the Dragons breathe new life into the European chemicals industry.